Leprechaun Origins and Leprechaun Returns. So let's start with Leprechaun Origins because it's the one that came out before Leprechaun Returns. And both of these are kind of interesting because both of these are reboots of the Leprechaun franchise. One's more of a revival, and then one's kind of a more of like a remake of this franchise. Well, I guess both of them are kind of revivals, but not really. I don't know how to explain it. But these are so Leprechaun Origins came out in 2014. 2014. Now the rest of these Leprechaun movies, they came out like the early early 90s or like very very late 80s, like I think 89 or something like that. But they all pretty much came out in the 90s. This was the first one that really came out in the 2000s in 2014. And so it's very different than the other movies because a lot of the stuff that was in these Leprechaun movies would not be as acceptable in a movie today because they just go a little too far in all the directions, all of them. Like, this is an insane movie. It's just a little too goofy. So, this movie is actually a co-production between Lionsgate and WWE Studios. I don't really know what that has to do with this movie, but this is like a prequel to the Leprechaun movies. It's like the origin story of the Leprechaun. And I said Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun is kind of like the saving grace of all these movies. Yeah, this one's he's not in it. And I think so for most fans, like most diehard fans, this is their least favorite Leprechaun movie. And I don't think it's the worst. I think Leprechaun Back to the Hood and Back to the Hood Part 2 and Leprechaun 4 in Space are significantly worse than this. But yeah, it isn't as fun as Leprechaun 1 and 2, or even 3 to an extent. It's just kind of like, it doesn't have Warwick Davis's fun energy. The other guy, I forget the actor who played the new Leprechaun. He didn't really do that great of a job. He's not as fun. I don't even know why they recast him. I guess because they're trying to make like a new Leprechaun and reboot it. But it's like, no one really wanted that, so it's kind of like, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this is just like ridiculous. It just, no. So, in 2018 or 2017, something like that, they came out with Leprechaun Returns because they still wanted to revive this franchise. So they brought Warwick Davis back and they said, look, be your Leprechaun again. Right? Am I getting that right? Warwick Davis. That's weird. I'm not seeing his name on the back, but whatever. So this is kind of a return to form of the Leprechaun series. No, I look like an idiot because I'm sitting here claiming he's in it, but I'm not seeing his name on the back for some reason. I don't know. Whatever. It's still returned to form with this franchise. It's like an actual sequel instead of like a reboot kind of / remake. It's a revival, and it brings back the fun, goofy element of just a silly movie about killer leprechauns. It's by no means as fun as the first one or the second one, but it is still a fun movie. And if you like the first two, and you're like the other ones, I don't really care about too much, then I recommend checking out Leprechaun Returns. But I do not recommend checking out Leprechaun Origins. So that is my thoughts on all the Leprechaun movies. All 8 of them. All 8 of them. Yes, there's 8 Leprechaun movies, and I watched them all for some reason. So, now that I'm finished with the Leprechaun movies, I think every Monday I'm going to start reviewing one of the Child's Play movies. I reviewed Child's Play 1. I was going to do that every Thursday, but I thought it'd be better to do that every Monday after I finish the Leprechaun franchise. And we're finished with the Leprechaun!